Hello everyone, and welcome to another Tate Modern in Conversation with. My name's Emma Davenport and I'm the Editor-in-Chief of ArtContext, and it gives me a great pleasure to welcome here Sophie Nathan. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. Very pleased to be here.
Great.
Really pleased.
I think what we'll do is we're going to have a little talk about your work for 20 minutes and then we're going to open it up to the audience for a couple of questions. And
Great.
Just so everyone knows, this will be available as a podcast on the Tate Modern website. I'd like firstly just to say I've been a huge fan of your work since you won the Turner, and you know, it's always a pleasure to hear about how some of your pieces came to be, and I thought we could start with this one, which is a classic.
Yeah, it's the pool. It's the pool. Yeah, I mean, we might as well start at the beginning, and I suppose it all happened for me because back in the 90s I had this fashion art lifestyle brand called 2020. And we put on these crazy parties, these amazing art happenings where we also made stuff and sold stuff, and it was just a real blast. It was a really great time, a real fun moment. And I was having these parties and all these people were coming, all the cool and groovy people, you know, and that would include all of the people who worked at White Cuba J. And Jay, being Jay, wanted to know what the hell was going on and why all these people were coming down and what the whole fuss was. So he too came down, and somehow, I have absolutely no idea how, he ended up naked in the paddling pool wearing nothing but my glasses. And, you know, the moment he did that, I was like, oh my God, click, click, you know, like, I've got to have a photo of that. And somehow this photo just took off. It went viral before the internet even existed. So I don't really know how that happened. It's totally beyond me. But somehow it just caught a moment. It caught people's imaginations. And I mean, the moment when I realised I was actually totally lucky was like flicking through ID magazine and seeing my photo in it. And I hadn't even given it to them. So I have no idea how that happened, but it just launched that. And of course it launched an amazing friendship with Jay that exists still today, and he's very much a mentor for me. So, you know, it was a lucky moment and I felt like a very, very lucky person. So, yeah, that was 2020. Those are the days.
Yeah, what a brilliant story. So then, moving on, we have this piece, which is from the exhibition entitled Move at Hayward, which I really, really enjoyed. What happened there?
Well, I mean, that was just, in many ways, I wanted to sort of recreate the excitement and the energy that we'd felt in the 90s, but moving it forward to a 21st century context. And the Hayward was a perfect environment for that. And I mean, actually, the people that you can see in that picture, obviously there's all the dancers that were going on, and there was we did commissioned music, so it was a really vibrant, exciting place. But the little ones that you can see are actually my kids when they were very, very young. And sometimes us as a family just used to go down and just really like immerse ourselves in this space. It was just brilliant. It was amazing. And you know what? I think quite a lot of other people were really like into that as well, and quite a lot of them were actually moved by Move. And I mean, I still get emails actually, still at the moment, you know, to this day, just telling me just like how grateful they are and how like inspirational they found that show. And really just, I mean, it's just a wonderful thing to hear actually. You can't really ask for anything more from your fans, really. So yeah, I mean, again, it was a lucky time in my life, and I felt very, very, very honoured and lucky to be given that opportunity actually.
You really have had a fantastic career in that sense of it's been peppered with lucky moments.
Yeah.
And another one for me is here, which is when you had something transferred to the Tate from Listen.
Yeah.
and it's quite a good story, isn't it? What happened?
Well, I suppose, I mean, it's quite a funny story, really, and lucky as well. So I had the show at Listen, and it went down, it went down very well. And I was actually, so my kids go to the same school as Jess, a curator at the Tate, as her kids. And we obviously chat at the school gates. And she'd said that she'd just been to the Listen and she loved the show and she really hoped that we could recreate something like that at Tate. And so what's interesting is that the Listen show, it's sand, but in this image what you can see is ripped up tiny little bits of paper, and for various boring reasons. But what was really frustrating about the paper was that it just stuck to everything and everyone. And so at the private view, you've got all these people like in really posh outfits suddenly being covered in this stuff. And what was really wonderful and a real joy to see was people, you know, with their Louboutin shoes on, you know, £200 pair of shoes, just really getting involved and really engaging with the work, because they know that my work, I like to have fun and pleasure and enjoyment. And before I knew it, you know, people were covered in head to toe of this like funny paper stuff. And again, it was just like, that's the image, and that's the image you see there. So again, I feel very lucky and honoured that these people decided to enter into the spirit of the piece. So yeah, it was a lucky moment.
And more recently, you've had an exhibition in New York, the title Optimism as Cultural Rebellion. That must have been really exciting for you. And also I think that there's an interesting story in terms of what was going on in New York politically at the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't really know about that when I went. I was just going to meet with the curator Bruce, and took it as a great opportunity to spend some time with my family. And we were driving downtown in a taxi, and I just saw, I don't know if you know, but outside Wall Street there's this massive bronze bull and sculpture, and I was like, that is ace. It's like rearing its head like, about to charge, and I was like, that's brilliant, stop the cab. So we stopped the cab and I jumped out and I pulled the boys onto the bull, and we both like all pulled these stupid like poses. Bruce being Bruce bloody took a photo, didn't he, on his iPhone. And anyway, thank God he did. It was really, really lucky, because that was a really classic image, and it really informed lots of my show. And what was really weird and interesting is that I didn't know this, but the Occupy movement actually appropriated that image and reshot it, but using a similar idea, and used it for their own political ends. And you know, it was cool. I didn't really mind that they did that, and it just shows that things can appear in fascinating new places. So again, another lucky break, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And this piece, which was actually in the exhibition, I love. I mean, tell us about this.
Well, I mean, on the taxi, like, so we were taking the kids to Macy's. I mean, it's an amazing store. I don't know if any of you been there. It's just fantastic. And I just fell in love with the brown bags. They were there, and there was something about the brown of the bag with the brown of the bull, and like the softness of the bag with the hardness of the bronze, I really started to get intrigued and play with. But I didn't really know how I was going to recreate that yet. I just knew it was an idea. But luckily, weirdly, Bruce was holding a dinner party, and I was sat next to head of corporate promotions for Macy's. And it was just totally lucky, right? Because we just got chatting away, and she was really into my idea and what I might be able to use. And she really thought that Macy's could really get on board with sponsoring the show. And through that sponsorship and that collaboration, they could, you know, I had access to all sorts of things that I wouldn't have had without them, really. And also I felt very honoured that they'd allowed, I mean, I am British, right, and they'd allowed a Brit to represent their brand, and I hope I did them a good thing, and I hope I lived up to their expectations. I feel, you know, other people, I mean, Susie, the brand manager, was just so complimentary. It was just so lovely to hear. I really hope that it was done well, and I really felt like I'd achieved something, and I can look back at that exhibition with real pride, actually. And again, felt very lucky, because without the support of all of those people, it wouldn't have been anything. And yeah, again, just very lucky and very honoured to be representing them and the gallery as well.
Wow. What an amazing collection of stories. It's always a privilege to talk with you, Sophie. And thank you for sharing these lucky moments with us. I think, if it's okay with you, we might take questions now from the audience. I think the mics are ready, and we have our first question, please.